In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good evening. Welcome to the Untethered podcast. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and you are watching The Deep End. And that's where we're going, right over the deep end. It is Sunday night, 8 o'clock. That means Old Testament. We're in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 22, I think it is. I could be wrong, but it might be right. We'll find out in a minute. How's everybody doing? Hey, April, how are you? Good to see you. Glad you're up and at 'em first thing in the morning, ready to go, rock and roll. Here we are. I have had quite the rainy day. It's the rainy day. That's all right, though. Rainy days are good for the soul. You don't get in trouble on rainy days. You stay inside and watch it rain. Other than that, I've been counting the minutes to the podcast because we're in a good book and I can't wait to keep going. Got my nice obligatory hot cup of coffee. I got some new things in the podcast we've been working with. Upgrading a little bit, as it were. You never know. My phone said something. Did you get my message, by the way? Speaking of phones, I sent you a text. You should have received it. Text me back if you did. I should not have an alarm. That was an alarm. I don't have an alarm. What are you doing alarming me? Anyway, text me back if you got my message. It's been a rainy day there too. I understand. You got the boys taking a bath on a rainy day. Yes, you got it. Good. Text me back so that the transition is complete. I texted you earlier. Well, I didn't receive one, did I? Let me see. Maybe I overlooked it. Nope, see? Well, you can't see. That's your text right there. And it just has me, no you. You have to text that number. That's my new number. The old number's no more. It's not raining anymore. That's good. It's kind of not raining here too, but it's still wet outside and it's still drizzly, but it's not really raining. You know how I be. Anyway, we got 3 people watching. Hey, there's a Kevin. Are you feeling better, sir? We were worried about you there. We was contemplating calling hospice but it looks like you pulled through, so congratulations. That's a good cup of coffee. I bought my last piece of furniture, a nice black leather reclining chair, antique, beautiful, beautiful piece of furniture. My house will be complete. That's for the living room anyway. I got the living room and the bedroom taken care of. Now I need to do the kitchen. It's new stove, new refrigerator, possibly a new washer and dryer. Hadn't decided yet on that. New microwave, new coffee pot, new toaster oven. You know how it goes. I've already got the table and chairs, though. I'm still alive thanks to beautiful and patient Nurse April. LOL, haha. La la, haha. La la, haha. Lol, haha. I'll never understand text language. I mean, I understand it. I just don't understand it, if you know what I'm saying. All right. We're almost up to 4 people, and we'll get ready and get started. We're at 4 people. All right. If you got your Bibles handy, break them out. Go to chapter 10, verse 21 of the great and powerful book of Joshua. Chapter 10, verse 21. That's where we're going to start today. Yeah. All right. That was all well and good, but can I have some words, please? That's what I'm talking about. And all the people returned to the camp to Joshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Nobody spoke evil against anybody. Then said Joshua, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring out those 5 kings unto me of the cave." Out of the cave. Remember, they had put the 5 kings that they had captured in a cave and then enclosed it so they couldn't get out. And now he's retrieving them. And they did so and brought forth those 5 kings unto him out of the cave. The king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, and the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon. And it came to pass, when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war which went with him, "Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings." And they came near and put their feet upon the necks of them. I don't think this is going to turn out very well for these kings. What do you say? And Joshua said unto them, "Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage, for thus shall the Lord do to all your enemies against whom ye fight." And afterwards Joshua smote them and slew them and hanged them on 5 trees. And they were hanging upon the trees until evening. I'm guessing when he said, "Fear not, and nor be dismayed," he was not talking to the kings. He was talking to the men whose feet were on their necks. And it came to pass, at the time of the going down of the sun, or, at evening, nightfall, that Joshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees, and cast them into the cave wherein they had been hid, and laid great stones in the cave's mouth, which remain until this very day. In other words, if you go find that cave, it's still covered over with great stones, so you probably won't find it. And that day Joshua took Makkedah, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof he utterly destroyed, them and all the souls that were therein. He let none remain. And he did to the king of Makkedah as he did unto the king of Jericho. Then Joshua passed from Makkedah, and all Israel with him, unto Libnah, and fought against Libnah. And the Lord delivered it also, and the kings thereof, into the hand of Israel. And he smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein. He let none remain in it, but did unto the king thereof as he did unto the king of Jericho, killed him, and hung him up on a tree. And Joshua passed from Libnah, and all Israel with him unto Lachish, and encamped against it, and fought against it. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hands of Israel, which took it on the second day, and smote with the edge of the sword all the souls that were therein, according to all that he had done to Libnah. Then Horam, king of Gezer, came up to help Lachish, and Joshua smote him and his people, until he had left him none remaining. And from Lachish Joshua passed unto Eglon, and all Israel with him, and they encamped against it, and fought against it. And they took it on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein he utterly destroyed that day, according to all that he had done in Lachish. And Joshua went up from Eglon, and all Israel with him, unto Hebron, and they fought against it. I'm talking, these guys were on a roll. They were warring like madmen. And they took it and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining, according to all that he had done in Eglon, but destroyed it utterly, and all the souls that were therein. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Debir, and fought against it, and he took it, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and utterly destroyed all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining. As he had done to Hebron, so did he to Debir, and the king thereof, as he also had done to Libnah, and to her king. So Joshua smote all 5 of those countries of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, or the valley, and of the springs, and all their kings. He left none remaining, but utterly destroyed him that breathed, all that breathed, as the Lord God of Israel had commanded. And Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even to Gaza, and all the country of Goshen even unto Gibeon. And all the kings in their land did Joshua take at one time, because the Lord God of Israel fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp of Gilgal. That's where they started. And it came to pass, when Jabin, king of Hazor, had heard those things, that he sent Jobab, king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Akshaph, what a name, and to those kings that were on the north of the mountains, and of the plains south of Chinneroth, and in the valley, and in the border of Dor, on the west side. I mean, they're taking everybody. They're leaving nobody. What is smote? Smite means to hit hard, or to smash, or to destroy utterly. That's what the word smite means, or smote. Smote is the past tense of the word smite, which is what angels do, and apparently Joshua. It's just an ancient word that means to win a battle, to utterly defeat someone. I shall smite thee. It also means to smack. So whatever you want to call it, however you want to see it, that's what it means. And to the Canaanites on the east and on the west, and to the Amorites, and to the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, that's where they came from, in the mountains, and to the Hivite under Hermon, in the land of Mizpeh. Hermon is a type of person that lives at the the foot of Mount Hermon, which is where the fallen angels came from heaven and landed at Mount Hermon. You can find documentation of that in the Bible, as well as the book of you know who I'm talking about. Adam's grandson. What's his name? Enoch. That's the guy. I had a brain fart. Lost my place in my mind. Can't do that. You're supposed to know words, Jake. You can't forget words. And they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, many, 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 many people. Yes, that's right. Duh. Sorry about the please continue. Sorry about that. Please continue. Don't be sorry. Ask if I say a word you don't know, ask. I've got to tell you what it means. That's the reason we're here, to learn what these words mean. A lot of the really hard to pronounce words are just names, names of places, which you can find on ancient maps. And some of them are still called that to this day. Most of them have changed their names, but you can find out where these places are. They're well known, and it's right there in that region where the Jordan River goes through, and you can look at all these little tributaries that go off of Jordan and the little towns. A lot of the places we're talking about is right in that region of the world, right up above Jerusalem. So it's not that hard to find out where all these places are. But by all means, if I say a word you don't know the meaning of, stop and ask. That's why we're here. I don't want you to be confused about anything when the podcast is over. I want you to understand it all. On some level, you don't have to understand the depth of everything, but you've got to be able to at least see the picture, see the bigger picture. That's what we're here for. Much people, even as the sand that is upon the seashore, in multitude, with horses and chariots, very many. There were a lot of people in Joshua's army. It's a big group of people. It must have been quite a sight to see them roaming through the land, see them coming up a hillside or something. That'd probably make you shake in your boots if you saw them coming, if you knew they were coming for you especially. And when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. That's a bad move, fellas. And the Lord said unto Joshua, be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before Israel. You won't even have to fight. They'll all be dead when you get there. Thou shalt hogue their horses and burn their chariots with fire. Hogue means to hobble, break the legs of all their horses. I'm assuming that's what they mean by this use of that word. You can look it up and find out if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Either way, their horses ain't getting out of there alive, however you want to see it. And burn all their chariots with fire. So Joshua came, and all the people of war with him, against them by the waters of Merom. Suddenly, they showed up out of nowhere, suddenly, and they fell upon them. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them, and chased them unto great Zidon, and unto Misrephoth Meim. What a name. Misrephoth Meim. That's what it says. And unto the valley of Mizpah, eastward, and they smote them, until they left them none remaining. This is a common theme when you go up against Israel. There will be nobody left standing when they're done. So here's a thought. Don't go up against Israel, fellas. Keep your tongue in your mouth. Keep it shut. Go about your business and leave Israel alone. That's how you survive this. You go against God, you fall. That's all there is to it. He will smite you. And Joshua did unto them as the Lord bade him, or told him to do. He hogued their horses, or broke all their legs, and he burnt their chariots with fire. And Joshua at the time turned back and took Hazor and smote the king thereof with the sword. For Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. It was the very top of the hierarchy of people that ran all of these little kingdoms. And they were all very, very bad. They were by no means innocent. And they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe. And he burned Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings, and all the kings of them, did Joshua take and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded. Take it all. But as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only. That did Joshua burn. And all the spoil of these cities, and the cattle, and the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves. But every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left they any to breathe. As the Lord commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. He was a faithful servant of God. He did everything God told him to do, and he did every bit of it with fervor, and he did it right, and he did it the first time without being told. That's what a servant does, and you should take lesson from that. You do what you're told, and you do it right. You do it with some passion, have some pride in your work, and do what the Lord says for you to do, and you will be good, blessed of God. Don't do it, and woe is the days of your life. For they are surely not going to be very long. So Joshua took all the land, the hills, and the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley of the same, even from the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, even to Baalgad, in the valley of Lebanon, under Mount Hermon, that mountain I told you about where the angels came down. And all their kings he took and smote them and slew them. They didn't live anymore. No more kings. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. Those are the ones that struck a deal with him. Remember that? They pretended to be somebody else, and they snuck in and told them that they were from afar off and they didn't want any part of this war. So Joshua accepted them as part of them. And then he found out who they really were, that they were right close by, and that they were on his list of people to destroy. But since he had already promised them safety, he kept his word, because of all things, he was a man of his word. But let's see how that relationship turns out later on down the road, shall we? All other they took in battle. They took it all. They wiped the floor. They wiped the table clean with these people. There's nothing left. They took everything. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as the Lord commanded Moses. And at that time came Joshua, and cut off the Anakims, or the sons of Anak, or the Anunnaki, which is a more modern word for the same people we're talking about. The Anakims, those are the Anunnaki mentioned of ancient Samaria. From the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel, Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. You ever wondered where those people disappeared to? They were all destroyed in battle by Joshua. That's where they went. That's why there's great cities, but no people to inhabit it. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod there remained. So Joshua took the whole land, according to all that the Lord said unto Moses. And Joshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel, according to their divisions by their tribes. And the land rested from war, finally. Now, these are the kings of the land, which the children of Israel smote, and possessed their land on the other side of Jordan, towards the rising of the sun, that's to the east, from the river Arnon unto Mount Hermon, and all the plain of the east. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and ruled over that A place, which is upon the bank of the river Arnon, from the middle of the river, and from half of Gilead, even unto the river Jabbok, which is the border of the children of Ammon, and from the plain of the sea of Chinnereth on the east unto the sea of the plain, even the salt sea on the east, the way to Beth Jeshimoth, and from the south under Ashdoth Pishga. That sounds like a Klingon word. Anyway, and the coasts of Og, king of Bashan, which was of the remnants of the giants. King Og was one of the last remaining giants. There were a few after him, but he was one of the biggest. And he was a big boy. Do some research on Og and Magog, and you will see what kind of men these guys were. That dwelt at Ashtaroth and Idri, and reigned in Mount Hermon. Now, why are they there at Mount Hermon? Because that's where they were born. Because when the angels came down, they took to them wives, because they found women to be very attractive. And so they took wives, and those wives had children right there at Mount Hermon. They didn't go very far. And that's the area where these giants were born. That's where they come from, in that region. So if you want to know where giants came from, start from Mount Hermon and look your way outwards, and you'll find out very quickly. And in Salcah, and in all Bashan, under the border of Gershurite, under the border of the Gershurites, and the Machathites, whatever, and half Gilead, the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Them did Moses the servant of the Lord and the children of Israel smite, and Moses the servant of the Lord gave it for a possession unto the Reubenites and the Gadites and half of Manasseh. Now that was on this side of Jordan. Remember, that was the cattle land. That was the place that was good for grazing. And they wanted to leave their wives and children there so that they could build homes while they went off to war. And they crossed over Jordan and took all the land on this side of Jordan. And then they went home and crossed back over Jordan to where their home is. That's the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. The rest of them took the land that God promised them on that side of the Jordan River. And that's the land that flows with milk and honey over there. This side, not so much. It's good for grazing, but that's about all it's good for. I wonder if the people that took those lands, they were so arrogant in asking for it and deciding that that's where they wanted to be instead of where God put them. I wonder if they'll have trouble later on down the road and blame God for the fact that their land isn't worth very much. How much you want to bet that's what happens? How much you want to bet that the very people who went against God and took this land will then blame God because the land ain't worth a scrap? That's just the nature of people. That's how it works. It's sad, but that's how people are. And these are the kings of the country which Joshua and the children of Israel smote on this side of Jordan on the west, from Baalgad in the valley of Lebanon, even unto Mount Halak, that goeth up to Seir, which Joshua gave unto the tribes of Israel for a possession according to their divisions, in the mountains, and in the valleys, and in the plains, and in the springs, and in the wilderness, and in the south country, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. That's where they come from. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, 1. The king of Adulam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tepuah, 1. The king of Heifer, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of Lasharon, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shimron, 1. The king of Ashshaph, 1. The king of Tanakh, 1. The king of Megiddo. Now this place, I want you to pay attention. Megiddo is in the valley. Megiddo is a place that there were wars in this time, but there will be wars now in this time soon. Megiddo is in a particular valley that's poised right between Russia and China. And they're going to come together in battle at that place, the Battle of Megiddo, or as we like to call it, Armageddon, or Armageddon. So remember that location, Megiddo. And when it comes up again in the future, know that this is what it's talking about. This is a forerunner for that time. This is a type of what's coming later. 1. The king of Kadesh, 1. The king of Jokneam, 1. Of Carmel, 1. The king of Dor in the coast of Dor, 1. The king of the nations of Gilal, 1. The king of Tirzah, 1. And all the kings, 30-1. That's a lot of kings he took down, and a lot of battles won, a lot of notches on Joshua's big old belt. What a great and powerful warrior he was for God. Now Joshua was old and stricken in years, and the Lord said unto him, Thou art old and stricken in years. You think? And there remaineth yet very much land to be possessed. You hadn't done your job yet, and you're already getting old on me, dude. What's up? You should have worked faster. Yeah, it takes a whole lifetime to conquer that many people. Captain Obvious over here. You're getting old, buddy. Ain't we all? And there remaineth yet very much land to be possessed. This is the land that yet remaineth. All the borders of the Philistines, and all Geshui, from Sihor, which is before Egypt, even into the borders of Ekron northwards, which is counted to the Canaanite. 5 lords of the Philistines, Gazathites, and the Ashdothites, and the Eshkalonites, and the Gittites, and the Ekronites, also the Avites from the south, and all the land of the Canaanites, and Mira, that is beside the Sidonians, unto Apec, to the border of the Amorites, and the land of the Giblites, and all Lebanon towards the sun rising, from Baalgad under Mount Hermon unto the entering of Hamath. All the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon unto Misrephothmaim, and all the Sidonians, them I will drive out from before the children of Israel. Only divide thou it by lot unto the Israelites for an inheritance, as I have commanded thee. So that when you get the land, you got to divide it up into small parcels. And you know what a lot is. It's like a third of an acre, something like that. I don't know what they'd call it over there, a hectare maybe, but it's a small parcel of land. And he's divided up amongst all the Israelites so that each one has a parcel of land. That's not a bad deal. Now, therefore, divide the land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes and half of the tribe of Manasseh. That's 10, 11, 12 that are already got their land, or 10, 11, and half of 12, with whom the Reubenites and the Gadites have received their inheritance, which Moses gave them already, beyond Jordan eastward, even as Moses the servant of the Lord gave them from that A place again, that is upon the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plain of Medeba unto Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, unto the border of the children of Ammon and Gilead, and the border of the Gershurites, and the Maachathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan unto Salcah, and the king of Og in Bashan, which reigned at Ashtaroth in Edrei, who remained of the remnants of the giants. For these did Moses smite and cast them out. Nevertheless, the children of Israel expelled not the Gershurites, nor the Maachathites, but the Gershurites and the Maachathites dwell among the Israelites unto this day. Only unto the tribe of Levi he gave none inheritance. They don't get any inheritance because they work in the temple. And it would be seen as, I don't know what, favoritism? I don't know. I don't know why he didn't give it to them. All I know is that he didn't. They've already got, or they're getting their inheritance somewhere else at another time, but they're not getting part of this. They are to bear the Ark of the Covenant and to work in the temple or the tabernacle and do the job of the priests. I guess it's not for priests to be profitable, so maybe that's why. A man of God should not be out to make profit. He's supposed to survive off of his flock. You know, he does the work, they make sure he eats. That's how it works. He's not supposed to be rich and famous and powerful. So I'm assuming that's why they got no inheritance. That's an assumption. That's my opinion. You're welcome to change my mind on that. As he said unto them, only unto the tribes of Levi he gave none inheritance. The sacrifices of the Lord God of Israel made by fire are their inheritance, as he said unto them. So they get fed, like I said, but they don't get rich and powerful. And Moses gave unto the tribe of the children of Reuben inheritance according to their families. And their coast was from that A place that is on the bank of the river Arnon, and the city that is in the midst of the river, and all the plains of Medeba, Heshbon, and all the cities that are on the plain, Dibon, and Bamathbal, and Bethbalmeon, and Jahaza, and Kedemoth, and Mapath, and Kirjath Harim, and Sibmah, and Zereth-Shahar in the mount of the valley, and Beth Peor, and Ashdoth Pishgah, and Beth Jeshimoth, and all the cities of the plains, and all the kingdoms of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses smote, with the princes of Midian, Evi, and Rakim, and Zur, and Hur. Remember that movie, Ben-Hur? That's the Hur he's talking about right here. Ben-Hur means son of Hur. So Hur's son is Ben-Hur in that movie. And Reba, which were dukes of Sihon, dwelling in the country. Balaam, also the son of Beor, the soothsayer, or the seer, the person who tells the future at that time, did the children of Israel slay with the sword among them that were slain by them. And the border of the children of Reuben was Jordan, and the border thereof. This was the inheritance of the children of Reuben after their families, the cities and the villages thereof. And Moses gave inheritance unto the tribe of Gad, even unto the children of Gad according to their families. And their coast was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the children of Ammon unto that A place that is before Rabbah, and from Heshbon unto Ramath Mizpeh, and Betonim, and from Mahanaim unto the border of Debir, and in the valley Bethram, and Beth Nimrah, and Succoth, and Zaphon, and the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, Jordan and his border, even unto the edge of the sea of Chinnereth, unto the other side of Jordan eastward. This is the inheritance of the children of Gad, and their families, the cities and their villages. And Moses gave inheritance unto half the tribe of Manasseh, and this was the possession of the half tribe of the children of Manasseh by their families. And their coast was from Manim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 80 cities, that's 20, 40, 60 cities, and half Gilead, and Ashtaroth, and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan, were pertaining unto the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, even to the 1/2 of the children of Machir by their families. These are the countries which Moses did distribute for inheritance in the plains of Moab. See how we're working backwards along their journey? On the other side of Jordan by Jericho eastward. But unto the tribe Levi Moses gave not an inheritance. The Lord God of Israel was their inheritance. God was their inheritance. That's why they didn't get anything else. God's a pretty big inheritance. As he said unto them. And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which is Eleazar, the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribe of the children of Israel distributed for inheritance to them. By lot was their inheritance, and the Lord, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses, for the 9 tribes and for the half tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of 2 tribes and an half tribe on the other side of Jordan. But unto the Levites he gave none inheritance among them. The Levites are just left out all the way around. Must suck to be a Levite. Must not, because they get a communion with God. We don't get that. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in. They were allowed to have places to live, but they didn't own it. with their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance, as the Lord commanded Moses. So the children of Israel did, and they divided the land. And the children of Judah came unto Joshua in Gilgal. They came to Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said unto him, Thou knowest the thing that the Lord said unto Moses, the man of God, concerning me and thee in Kadesh Barnea. You remember the thing that God said concerning us in Kadesh Barnea? Well, now's the time. 40 years old was I when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to espy out the land. And I brought him word again, as it was mine heart. It was in mine heart. I did it out of the kindness of my heart, he says. I brought back word. Yeah, that's what I was sent to do, but it was out of the kindness of my heart. That sounds to me like he's trying to get over on Joshua a little bit here. I don't know. Nevertheless, my brethren, that went up with me made the heart of the people melt, but I wholly, completely followed the Lord my God. Oh, did you now? Aren't you one of the guys that came back and told lies about what was going on over there? I think you were. And Moses sware on that day, saying, Surely the land whereon thy feet have trodden shall be thine inheritance, and thy children's forever, because thou hast wholly followed the Lord my God. And now, behold, the Lord hath kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, ever since the Lord spake this word unto Moses, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. It's time to give me what's mine. That's what he's saying. I don't know if he actually deserves it or not, because he didn't tell the truth. But we'll see. As yet, I am as strong this day as I was the day Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now, for war both to go out and to come in. Now therefore give me this mountain, whereof the Lord spake in that day, for thou heardest in that day how the Anakims, or the sons of Anak, or the Anunnaki, were there, and that the cities were great and fenced. If so be the Lord's will be with me, then I shall be able to drive them out, as the Lord said. And Joshua blessed him, and gave unto Caleb the son of Jephunneh Hebron for an inheritance. And Hebron therefore became the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite unto this day, because that he wholly followed the Lord God of Israel. So I guess he wasn't one of the liars. There were 3 people sent by 2 different people. I believe it was Joshua that sent 2 guys, and Moses sent a guy. So I'm guessing this is the guy that Moses sent. The other 2 guys came back and told lies and said, we're like grasshoppers in the sight of them. They kill us all, even just by looking at us. We can't go back in there, because they didn't want to go in and fight. Well, that's not exactly true. They were giants, but they weren't that damn big. So they just embellished, made the truth sound worse than it was. But this guy, Caleb, seems to have been all right, so I'm glad for him. And the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba, which Arba was a great man among the Anakims, or the sons of Anak, or Anunnaki, and the land had rested from war. This then was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah by their families, even to the border of Edom in the wilderness of Zin. Southward was the uttermost part of the south coast, and their south border was from the shore of the salt sea, from the bay that looketh southward, and it went out to the south side of Malhe-Kabarim, Crabham. Malachi Crabham. Man, they just keep getting worse. There's no way a human being can say that word. Malachi Crabham. And passed along to Zan, and ascended up to the south side of Kadesh Barnea, and passed along to Hezron, and went up to Adar, and fetched a compass to Karka. I don't know what that means. I guess it means it goes around like this to another city, the border of that city. From thence it passed towards Asmon, and went out unto the river of Egypt. That's the Nile, by the way. And the goings out of that coast were at the sea. This shall be your south coast. And the east border was the salt sea, even unto the end of Jordan. And their border in the north quarter was from the bay of the sea at the uttermost part of Jordan. And the border went up to Beth Hogla, little piggy land. That's that little piggy girl, remember her? Hogli? Beth Hogla. And passed along by the north of Betharaba. I'm telling you, man. If nothing else, my tongue's getting a workout. And the border went up to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben. And the border went up towards Debir from the valley of Achor, and so northward, looking towards Gilgal. And that is before the going up of Adumim, which is on the south of the river. And the border passed towards the waters of En-Shemesh, and the goings out thereof were in Rogel. And the border went up by the valley of the son of Hinnom unto the south side of Jebusites. That's where they came from. The same is Jerusalem. And the border went up to the top of the mountains that lieth before the valley of Hinnom westward, which is at the end of the valley of the giants northward. Yeah, the one you said should have named her Piglet and called it a day. Yep. You should have named her Piglet. She came from that Hogley place. And the border was drawn up from the top of the hill unto the fountain of the water of Nephtoah. The water of Nephtoah. And went out to the cities of the Mount Ephron. And the border was drawn to Baalah, which is Kirjath Jearim. Baalah and Kirjath Jearim are the same place. It was funny. It was a funny name. And the border compassed from Baalah westward to Mount Seir, and passed along the side of the Mount Jearim, which is Chesalon, on the north side, and went down to Beth Shemesh, and passed Timnah. And the border went out unto the side of Ekron northwards, and the border was drawn to Shikron, and passed along to Mount Baalah, and went out to Jabneel. And the goings out of the border were at the sea. I'll be glad when we get through with all this land stuff. And the west border was to the great sea, and the coast thereof. This is the coast of the children of Judah round about, according to their families. Now, this stuff is important to know so that you understand where all of these people belong. You can look at a map and find it out pretty easily, because all of these people fit in this land perfectly. 12 tribes fill up the whole land of the Middle East. And all of this place, they could just say, we gave them the Middle East, but they're being specific and letting you know who got what, when, and where. That's why Israel today is still fighting with the Palestinians over the West Bank, because they have a dispute as to who owns the place. Well, Israel does. The Bible says so. But the other people, the Palestinians, which isn't a real place, which basically just means Muslims, they don't believe that. They think they own it. So that's why the battle. And that's why the battle will never be solved, because both sides think they have ownership. And unto Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he gave a part among the children of Judah, according to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, even the city of Arba, the father of the Anak, the sons of Anak, or the Anunnaki, or the Anakims, however you want to see it, which city is Hebron. And Caleb, Hebron, by the way, is Samaria, ancient Samaria. And Caleb drove thence the 3 sons of Anak, Sheshai, and Hyman, and Ptolemy, the children of Anak, the giants, the sons of Anak, or the Anunnaki. And he went up thence to the inhabitants of Debir, and the name of Debir before was Kirjath Sepher. That's me speaking in tongues. That means my tongue is flapping. That's all it means. And Caleb said, my nose is bothering me today. I'm not on cocaine, I promise. And Caleb said, he that smiteth Kirjath Sepher and taketh it to him, I will give Achsah, my daughter, to wife, because I can not hardly pronounce her name. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him Achsah, the daughter of him, to wife. And it came to pass, as she came unto him, she moved him to ask of her father a field, and she lighted off her ass. That's generally how women do it. And Caleb said unto her, What wouldest thou? What would you have me do? What do you want from me, woman? Who answered, Give me a blessing, for thou hast given me a south land. Give me also springs of water. And he gave her the upper springs and the nether springs, upper and lower. Nether means down. And this is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Judah, according to their families. And the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah towards the coast of Edom, southward, were Kabzeel, and Eder, and Jagur, and Kenna, and Demona, and Adada. But that's the sound of a drum. Adada. And Kadesh, and Hazor, and Ithnan, and Ziph, and Telim, and Beloth, and Hazor, and Hadattah. That's another sound of a drum. And Kerioth, and Hezron. He keeps saying Hezron. And Hazor. He keeps saying Hazor. Amam, and Shema, and Moladah, and Hazargada. Hazargada. That's it. Hazargada. And Heshmon, and Beth Palet, and Hazar Shual, and Beersheba. Beersheba is an interesting place that we'll talk about later on too. A lot of weird things happen there. And Bizjothjah, and Belach, and Im, and Ezim, and El Tolad, and Chezil, and Horma, and Ziklag, and Madmenah, and Sansana, and Leboath, and Shilhim, and Ain, not to be confused with Am or A, but Ain, and Rimmon, and all the cities are 29 with their villages, and in the valley Eshtol, and Zoria, and Ashna, and Zanoah, and Enganim, Tepuah, and Enam, Jarmuth, and Adullam, Soko, and Azekah, and Sheraim, and Adithiam, and Gedara, and Gederathim, 14 cities with their villages, Zenon, and Hadashah, and Migdalgad, and Delian, and Mizpeh, and Juktheel. That definitely sounds like Klingon. Lachish, and Bozkath, and Eglon, and Kabon, and Lamam, and Kithlish, and Gederoth, and Beth Dagon, and that's also an interesting place, Beth Dagon, and Naamah, and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages, Libnah, Ether, and Eshan, and Jipthah, and Ashna, and Nizib, and Kilha, and Ashzib, and Marishah, 9 cities with their villages, Ekron with her towns and her villages, from Ekron even unto the sea, all that lay near Ashdod with their villages, Ashdod with her towns and her villages, Gaza with her towns and her villages, unto the rivers of Egypt. By the way, Gaza is where the pyramids are, if you're interested. The ones that are famous. There's lots of pyramids, but the 3 that I'm talking about are the ones where the Sphinx is. That's at Gaza Strip, or Giza, the Giza Plateau in Gaza, or right near Gaza. And the great sea, and the border thereof, and in the mountains, and Shamir, and Jatir, and Soko, and Dana, and Kirjath-Sana, which is Debir, and Anab, and Ishtimo, and Anim, and Goshen, and Holon, and Gilho, 11 cities with their villages, Arab, and Duma, and Eshin, and Janam, and Beth Tepoa, and Ephekah, and Humta, and Kirjath Arba, which is Hezbron, and Zior, 9 cities with their villages, Mon, and Carmel, and Ziph, and Jutta, and Jezreel, and Jokdeam, and Zanoah, Cain, Gebe, Timnah, 10 cities with their villages, Hellhole. Know that place? Hellhole? Bethzer, Gedor, and Marath, and Beth Enoth, and El Tekon, 6 cities with their villages, Kirjath Baal, and Kirjath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Arabah, Midian, and Sekaka, Nibshan, and the cities of Salt, and En-Gedi, 6 cities with their villages. As for the Jebusites, where they're coming from, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the children of Judah could not drive them out. But the Jebusites dwell with the children of Judah at Jerusalem unto this day. They're still there, those Jebusites, those self-flagellating bad guys. They have a name, Jesuit. Jesuit from the Jebusite tribes. And the lot of the children of Joseph fell from Jordan by Jericho unto the water of Jericho on the east, to the wilderness that goeth up from Jericho throughout Mount Bethel. We have a Bethel right close to us here where I'm at. We have a town called Bethel right up the road. And Bath, by the way, 2 places that are mentioned in the Bible. And goeth out from Bethel to Luz, and passeth along the borders of Archi to Adaroth, and goeth down westward to the coast of Japhleti, unto the coast of Beth Horon, the nether, the lower, and to Gezer, and the goings out thereof are at the sea. In other words, what that means is, you've heard that several times, that means that the way you get out of that, it's not landlocked. You can get out by boat, or they have borders, not borders, they have harbors where boats can come in and go out. And that's how they trade. And rather than going like the Silk Road, which is landlocked all the way up, they can actually go out and go around the continent. So all these cities are coastal cities, is what he's saying. So the children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim took their inheritance. And the border of the children of Ephraim, according to their families, was thus. Even the border of their inheritance on the east side was Ashtaroth-adar, that's it, unto Beth-horon, the upper. That's the upper side of Beth-horon, not the nether side, the lower side where Gezer is. And the border went out towards the sea to Michmethah. That's definitely a Klingon word. On the north side, and the border went out about eastward unto Tanath-shiloh, and passed by it on the east side of Genoa. And it went down from Genoa to Adaroth and to Narath, and came to Jericho and went out at Jordan. The only way any of this is making sense to anybody is if they're following along with an ancient map, because this is just a bunch of unpronounceable words and directions, but you have no context as to where at on the longitudinal lines you are to find out which way is which, unless you're looking at a map and can see where all these places are joining. So it's important to understand where these places are, but kind of let this go in one ear and out the other, because there's not really a lot of information here other than this is the place and it's the Middle East. That whole swath of the world is what we're talking about. The border went out from Tapuna westward unto the river Cana, and the goings out thereof were at the sea, also a border town. Coastal town. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Ephraim by their families. And the separate cities for the children of Ephraim were among the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. And that drave not out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwell among the Ephraimites unto this day, and serve under tribute. So not all the people were destroyed. There were some that were left where they were because they just didn't have enough power to drive them all out. But instead of driving them out, they consumed them, and now they live as part of that new group of people. I guess that's one way to survive. Assimilate, conform, become part of the people that are oppressing you. And then you're not oppressed anymore. Then you're an oppressor, not an oppressee. There was also a lot for the tribe of Manasseh. for he was the firstborn of Joseph, to wit, for Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of the Gilead, because he was a man of war. Therefore he had Gilead and Bashan. I'm all tongue-tied now. I need to take a breath. Hold on. My ear hurts. My ear fell asleep. I didn't even know an ear could fall asleep. Take that, ear. Wow. That's more painful than I thought it was. When's the last time your ear fell asleep? What was that you said? Sorry, my ear was asleep. There was also a lot for the rest of the children of Manasseh by their families, for the children of Abizar, and for the children of Helek, and for the children of Azriel, and for the children of Shechem, and for the children of Hefer, and for the children of Shemitah. These were the male children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, by their families. But Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but daughters. And these are the names of his daughters, Mahlah and Noah, or No, however you want to pronounce it, little piggy girl, Hoglah, Milkers, and Tirzah. Remember, these are the girls who went to Moses and said, hey, my dad had no sons. How about give us the inheritance because we're people too? And Moses said, you know what? I'm not a sexist. You're right. Have at it. So the girls got their inheritance instead of boys. So anybody that says that the Bible is sexist did not read it. And they came near before Eleazar the priest, and before Joshua the son of Nun, and before the princes, saying, the Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brethren. Therefore, according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their families, of their fathers. And there fell 10 portions to Manasseh, beside the land of Gilead and Bashan, which were on the other side of Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh had an inheritance among his sons, and the rest of Manasseh's sons had the land of Gilead. Very nice. So even the girls got their fair share. And the coast of Manasseh was from Asher to Michmethach, that lieth before Shechem, and the border went along on the right hand unto the inhabitants of Tappuah. Now Manasseh had the land of Tappuah, but Tappuah on the border of Manasseh belonged to the children of Ephraim, and the coast descended unto the river of Cana, southward of the river. These cities of Ephraim are among the cities of Manasseh, so they both have a little conflict of interest there, but they'll work it out. They're brothers, after all. The coast of Manasseh also was on the north side of the river, and the outgoings of it were the sea. Southward it was Ephraim's, and northward it was Manasseh's, and the sea is his border. And they met together in Asher on the north, and Issachar on the east. And Manasseh had in Issachar and in Asher Bethshean, and her towns, in Ibleam and her towns, and the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, and the inhabitants of Endor and the Ewoks, and her town, and the inhabitants of Tanakh and her towns, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns, even 3 countries. Now, if you look, you'll see what those 3 countries are. They're right there at the top of Egypt, where Megiddo is. Find Megiddo, and you can find all these places. Megiddo is the place where Armageddon will take place in the future. Yet the children of Manasseh could not drive out the inhabitants of those cities, but the Canaanites would dwell in the land. Yet it came to pass, when the children of Israel were waxen strong, and they put the Canaanites to tribute, made them slaves, but did not utterly drive them out. But they did work for them for a while. And the children of Joseph spake unto Joshua, saying, Why hast thou given me but one lot, and one portion to inherit, seeing I am a great people, for as much as the Lord hath blessed me hitherto? And Joshua answered them, If thou be a great people, then get thee up to the wood country, and cut down for thyself there in the land of the Perizzites and of the giants, if Mount Ephraim be too narrow for thee. If you don't like where you're at, take your butt out there and fight for some. You can't sit back here and just wait and do nothing. You got to get out there and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make something for yourself. Cut out a place for yourself. There's a mountain right there. Go do it. And the children of Joseph said, The hill is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites that dwell in the land of the valley have chariots of iron. We're scared. Both they who are of Bethshean and her towns, and they who are of the valley of Jezreel. And Joshua spake unto the house of Joseph, even to Ephraim and to Manasseh, saying, Thou art a great people, and hast great power. Thou shalt not have one lot only, but the mountain shall be thine, for it is a wood. There's lots of woods out there, and thou shalt cut it down, and the goings out of it shall be thine. However much you can make off all those trees, go do it. For thou shalt drive out the Canaanites. Though they have iron chariots, and though they be strong, you're stronger, and you have God on your side. So what are you whining about? Go beat them up, kick them out, and take their land. That's why we're here. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh, and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there. And the land was subdued before them. And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes, which had not yet received their inheritance. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, How long are ye slack to go up to possess the land, which the Lord of your fathers hath given you? What are you going to do? Sit here and wait for me to do it all? Go, get your land. It's out there. God's already given it to you. Go take it. I can't do it all. Give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them, and they shall rise and go through the land, and describe it according to the inheritance of them, and they shall come again to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Judah shall abide in the coast of the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in the coast of the north. And ye shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. But the Levites have no part among you, for the priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad and Reuben and half the tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance beyond Jordan on the east, which Moses the servant of the Lord gave them. And when the men arose and went away, and Joshua charged them that went to describe the land, saying, Go and walk through the land and describe it, and come again to me, that I may here cast lots for you before the Lord in Shiloh. So even though he told them to go get it themselves, he's still going to divide it up for them so they don't have to worry about it. That's what you call a leader, folks. And the men went and passed through the land and described it by cities into 7 parts in a book. Then came again to Joshua and the host at Shiloh. And Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord, and there Joshua divided the land unto the children of Israel according to their divisions. And the lot of the tribe of the children of Benjamin came up according to their families. And the coasts of their lot came forth between the children of Judah and the children of Joseph. That's in the middle. Joseph at the north and the other guy at the south. Judah at the south. And their border on the north side was from Jordan, and the border went up to the side of Jericho on the north side and went up through the mountains westward. And the goings out thereof were at the wilderness of Bethaven. And the border went over from thence toward Luz, to the side of Luz, which is Bethel, southward. And the border descended to Atarothadar, near the hill that lieth on the south side of the nether Bethhoron. That's the lower part of Bethhoron. And the border was drawn thence, and compassed the corner of the sea southward, from the hill that lieth before Bethhoron southward. And the goings out thereof were at Kiljathbaal, which is Kiljath-jearim. Same place. And the cities of the children of Judah. A city of the children of Judah. This was the west quarter. And the south quarter was from the end of Kirjath-jearim, and the border went out on the west, and went out to the well of waters at Nephtoah. And the border came down to the end of the mountain that lieth before the valley of the son of Hinnom, and which is the valley of the giants on the north, and descended to the valley of Hinnom on to the side of Jebusi, which is where the Jebusites come from. That's where they came from, on the south, and descended to Enrogel, and was drawn from the north, and went forth to En-shemesh, and went forth to Galiloth, which is over against the going up of Adumim, and descended to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben, and passed along towards the side over against Arabah, northward, and went down unto Arabah. And the border passed along the side of Beth-hogla, northward. That's where little Hogley comes from, a little piglet. And the outgoings of the border were at the north bay of the Salt Sea, at the south end of Jordan. This was the south coast, and Jordan was the border of it on the east side. This was the inheritance of the children of Benjamin, by the coasts thereof, round about according to their families. Now the cities of the tribe of the children of Benjamin according to their families were Jericho, and Beth-hogla, and the valley of Keziz, and Beth-araba, and Zemaraim, and Bethel, and Avim, and Farah, and Ophrah. She has a show on the late night TV and gives away automobiles a lot. Ophrah. You should check it out. And Chepharamone, and Ophni, and Gaba, 12 cities with their tribes, Gibeon, and Ramah, and Beeroth, and Mizpeh, and Chifhira, and Moza, and Rekem, and Earpeel, and Tarala, and Zela, and Eleph, and Jebusi, which is where the Jebusites come from. That's where they came from, which is Jerusalem, Gibeath, and Kirjath, 14 cities with their villages. This is the inheritance of the children of Benjamin according to their families. And the second lot came forth to Simeon, even for the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah. And they had in their inheritance Beersheba, and Sheba, and Moladah, and Harajul, and Bela, and Azim, and El Tolad, and Bethul, and Horem, and Ziklag, and Beth Markaboth, and Hazarasuzah, and Bethelboah, Bethleboth, that's it, Bethleboth, and Sharuhin, 13 cities with their villages, Ain, Rimmon, and Ether, and Ashen, 4 cities and their villages, and all the villages that were round about these cities, to Balathbeer, Ramoth of the south. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Simeon according to their families. Out of the portion of the children of Judah was the inheritance of the children of Simeon, for the part of the children of Judah was too much for them. Therefore the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of them. And the third lot came up for the children of Zebulun, according to their families. And the border of their inheritance was unto Sarid, and their border went up towards the sea, and Maralah, and reached Dabasheth, and reached to the river that was before Jokneam, and turned from Sarid eastward towards the sun rising unto the border of Chislothtabar, and then goeth out to Daberath, and goeth up to Jepiah, and from thence passeth on along to the east of Gittahefer, to Itikazan, and goeth to Rimmon Meteor, to Nea, and the border compasseth it on the north side to Hanathon, and the outgoings thereof are in the valley of Jippathiel, and Kata, and Nahalal, and Shimron, and Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. I think I've had just about enough of all these words for today. This was the inheritance of the children of Zebulun according to their families, these cities with their villages. And that's where we're stopping. I'm done. We'll pick back up next Sunday and read some more big-ass names. Whew. Let me drop that real quick. Man, let me just tell you, my tongue is tired. I don't even know if anybody's still awake or with me. Wow, there's 6 people tortured tonight. There is wisdom in knowing these things, but man, it ain't for everybody. So, with that, would you please take a moment and hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you'll get notifications when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. Reach out and touch it. It's right in front of you and it's absolutely free. Just reach out and touch it or smash it like it owes you money. God knows it owes me a little. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, hey, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me. Hey, confront yourself. As long as you're thinking, that's what I want for you. I want that gray matter to be sizzling with critical thought so that you understand the world around you. And if you love the ministry of the Lord and you'd like to be part of it and help us grow and get a little bigger and a little better and keep the lights on, won't you please take a moment and go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing for me. It's a blessing for you. And God notices these things, especially when you. That's me. Come on now.
Pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake.
Well, don't do that.
Feed
Jake.
my best friend.
I'm your best friend.
Right through it all.
I got my own theme song. Say it loud, say it proud, say it like you mean it. What's that? Feed Jake. Thank you very much, and I greatly appreciate your support. And with that, I will take your questions and comments. Just tell me what you're thinking about. Tell Uncle Jake. Let me help you out. Kevin, no sports update tonight? What's up with you, buddy? Thanks, Jake. Love you. I got to tend to the boys. I love you true. I love you true, too. And thank you for sticking with me this long. Tell everybody I said hello and tell Kevin to get on here and say a word to me. Who else is with us tonight? Anybody? I know you're there. Say hello. Got any questions or comments? What a long book it was. Kevin's here. No sports updates? What's going on with you? I make you a graphic and you don't even pay attention. I might have to hit you with it just in case. Uh-oh. I feel it coming on. It's Sports Update with Kevin Cox. Lightning and Stanley Cup. They are at Stanley Cup champions for the second year in a row. Go Bolts. How about that? Sports Update with Kevin Cox. I'm here too. I just can't text in a minute. Gotta tend to them. I love you all. May God bless you and see you tomorrow. Well, that's excellent. That's all right. You don't have to text. You don't have to talk. You do plenty enough just as you are, honey. You just take care of them boys. And Kevin, you take care of her. That's how it works. And that's all there is to it. For those of you that are watching tonight that don't normally watch Wednesday or Friday, I got a new graphic. I'm going to play it for you real quick because I worked on it hard and I want to show it off. So tell me what you think or don't. Just enjoy. Here it is. Pa-pow. About that. That's my new intro for Wednesdays and Fridays. I still got the old one for Sundays and Mondays, but I might tweak them a little bit. I've been thinking about adding some pictures to it. We'll see. Awesome, Jake. Love it. I love it too. Thank you. It's short, sweet, and to the point. Pow, 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 pow. Yeah. Kevin says, I liked it. Excellent. We're getting there. Where be Diego? I don't know. He ain't come on tonight. That's unusual, isn't it? He must be having a lot of fun there in Mexico. We miss you, Diego. I'm sure he'll be back. He might be here tomorrow. You never know. Same with Great Sky Troll. He pops in and pops out. And I got several people that watch occasionally but don't watch every week. And then I got several people, quite a few people that watch during the week. Watch the weekend during the week. They're not here live, but they catch it afterwards. And then I got 6 or 7 or 8 people that come every weekend and watch with us and talk with us and all that stuff. So we'll see. Who knows? We're growing. We're getting there. We still hadn't broke 100 yet, but we're close. Y'all need to get busy and help me break 100. Get some people to press that subscribe button. Help us out. We're getting there, though. Won't be long. As soon as we break 100, it'll be all over from there. We'll just start going viral. Then it'll be 1,000, and then 10,000, and then 20,000, and then on and on and on. We got to start somewhere, though. What breaks my heart is that Adam Krigler guy who started on the Timcast podcast. He started his own show not that long ago, about a year ago. And he just reached 200 episodes, but he goes every night or every other night. And I'm at 200 episodes, and he's at, 15,000 viewers or better. And I'm at less than 100 subscribers, So I don't know what he's doing, but I need to learn how to do it. Well, he started from a famous place. That helped. There was a lot of built-in people already from the other podcast, because Tim Pool is pretty popular. So he started from a high place. I started from nobody knowing who I was. So that's one reason I'm growing slower, but I shouldn't be growing that slow. I think the fact that it's a religious thing is the reason it's going really slow. I don't think that YouTube likes to promote that. I don't know if I'm even being promoted. I know that if you're subscribed to me, you'll get notifications when I'm going to be online. You'll see me in your feed. But if you're not subscribed to me, if you're just searching the internet, I don't know that my name comes up. If you search for anything that's pertaining to this podcast, and I do have meta tags, which are supposed to, in theory, anytime somebody searches one of those words, it should bring them to this page. In theory, that's how it works. But I don't know that it is working. It doesn't work. Either that or there aren't that many people searching for religious ideology on the internet, which I don't believe. Because before the left started censoring everybody and before everybody started getting crazy over there, YouTube was a right-wing utopia. And all of the right-wing people were taken over. It was a right-wing place. And then they started censoring everybody. And then it went down to nearly nothing. Yes, it's working, says Kevin. Well, that's good. I hope it is. The only way to be able to really find out if it's working, though, is to get a computer or a phone that's not connected to us in any way, is not subscribed to this channel and has never been to this channel, and then search keywords like Word of God or something like that, and see if this show pops up in the feed anywhere, how many pages down it is, or Christian or something like that, some word, Jesus, anything pertaining to the Bible. I've got probably 100 keywords. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's the only real way to test it, to see if it comes up at random to a machine that's not associated with us. I know that it pops up to people who are subscribed, but I don't know if it does to people who've never heard of me. But if you say it's working, I believe you. Anyway, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be vamping up and, doing better graphics and changing things up to make us have a better production value. The intros are just the first thing. I'll see, can I better schedule the program to where it actually has a pattern, theme, a body, and then a conclusion. Make it more fluid. We'll see. We'll make it work. I am very tired and have got to get up early. Me too. I enjoyed the podcast. Good night. Well, good night to you too, brother. I'm not far behind you, I promise. Because I got to get up early and go to work too. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until Monday night, where we get into some much, much lighter stuff. Much more enjoyable read. Won't be quite so miserable. So many unpronounceable words. So until then, may God bless you. Take care of yourselves and each other. And be honorable and courageous. Be righteous and indignant. Be wise, wiser than the serpent. Watch what you're doing. Make sure that you are on solid footing. Have a great night. I love you. Peace out.